In what might be the most significant financial announcement for American seniors this decade, the Social Security Administration has just dropped bombshell news that's sending shockwaves through retirement communities across the nation. If you or someone you love receives Social Security benefits, the next few minutes could literally put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket starting January 2026. We're talking about the largest cost of living adjustment in nearly half a century, and what's even more shocking is how this massive raise could compound over time, potentially adding up to tens of thousands in additional benefits over the next decade. But here's the catch: not everyone will receive the full amount, and there are some critical deadlines and requirements you absolutely need to know about. Stay with me, because I'm about to break down exactly who gets what, when the money starts flowing, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to ensure you don't leave a single dollar on the table. Before we dive deep into these game-changing details, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This channel is dedicated to bringing you the latest Social Security updates the moment they happen, and trust me, with changes this big, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's get straight to the numbers that everyone's been waiting for. The Social Security Administration has officially announced an 8.3% cost of living adjustment for 2026, marking one of the largest increases since the 1980s. For the average Social Security recipient currently receiving $1,848 per month, this translates to an additional $153 monthly, or roughly $1,836 extra per year. But here's something crucial that most news outlets aren't telling you: this increase isn't just a one-time bump. It becomes part of your permanent benefit base, meaning future COLAs will be calculated on top of this higher amount. Think about that for a moment. What could you do with an extra $153 every single month? That's not just coffee money we're talking about, it's the difference between struggling to pay for prescriptions and having a little breathing room in your budget. For many seniors living on fixed incomes, this raise could be the financial lifeline they've been desperately waiting for. But here's where things get interesting, and why you need to pay very close attention to what I'm about to share. The actual amount you'll receive depends on several factors, and some beneficiaries could see significantly higher increases than others. Remember that $153 figure I mentioned? That's just the average. Some recipients could see increases of $200 or more per month, while others might receive less. Let's break down exactly who's eligible for this historic raise. First and foremost, if you're currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, you're automatically in line for the increase. The same goes for those receiving Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, or Supplemental Security Income, SSI. But, and this is crucial, the timing of when you'll see this money hit your account varies depending on your situation. For SSI recipients, your first increased payment will arrive on December 29, 2025. Why December? Because January 1 SD is a holiday, and SSI payments that would normally go out on the first of the month are paid on the previous business day when the first falls on a weekend or holiday. For everyone else receiving Social Security benefits, the new amounts will begin with your January 2026 payment. Now, here's something that might surprise you, and it's a detail that could affect millions of beneficiaries. If you're one of the roughly 70% of Social Security recipients who have Medicare Part B premiums deducted from your monthly benefit, your net increase might look a little different. The Medicare Part B premium for 2026 is expected to increase as well, though the exact amount hasn't been announced yet. This means some of your COLA increase will go toward covering that higher premium. But don't let that worry you too much, because I'm about to share some strategies that could help you maximize your benefits under this new adjustment. First, though, let's talk about why this increase is happening now, and why it's so much larger than what we've seen in recent years. The Social Security COLA is based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPIW, specifically looking at the third quarter data, July, August, and September, compared to the previous year. The dramatic increase we're seeing reflects the significant inflation we've experienced, particularly in categories that hit seniors the hardest, things like food, housing, and medical care. Here's something fascinating that most people don't realize. This COLA calculation method has been in place since 1972, but some experts argue it doesn't accurately reflect seniors' spending patterns. There's actually a movement in Congress to switch to a different index called the CPIE, which is specifically designed to track elderly spending habits. If that change had been in place, this year's increase might have been even larger. But let's get back to what this means for you right now. If you're wondering whether you need to do anything to receive this increase, the answer is generally no, it will be applied automatically to your benefits. However, there are some important steps you might want to consider taking to make the most of this raise. First, if you haven't already, now might be the perfect time to create a My Social Security account on the SSA's website. This will allow you to see your updated benefit amount as soon as it's calculated, usually in early December. It's also a great way to ensure your contact information is up to date and to review your earnings record for accuracy. Speaking of accuracy, here's a little-known fact that could make a big difference in your benefits. The Social Security Administration has a time limit for correcting errors in your earnings record. If you spot a mistake, you generally have 3 years, 3 months, and 15 days from the end of the tax year to get it fixed. Why does this matter now? Because with this significant increase coming, ensuring your baseline benefit amount is correct becomes even more important. Now, let me share something that might seem counterintuitive at first, but could be incredibly valuable for some of you watching. If you're still working and haven't started taking your Social Security benefits yet, this COLA increase affects you too. It will be incorporated into your future benefit calculations, potentially leading to higher payments when you do decide to claim. This brings up an interesting strategy question. Should this massive COLA influence your decision about when to claim benefits? The answer isn't simple and depends on your individual circumstances. But here's something to consider. If you're at or near retirement age but haven't claimed yet, starting benefits in 2026 means you'll be locking in this historic increase as part of your base benefit amount. However, and this is important, don't let this COLA alone drive your claiming decision. Remember, for each year you delay benefits beyond your full retirement age, up to age 70, you earn delayed retirement credits of 8% per year. That's a guaranteed return that's hard to beat, especially in today's economic environment. Let's talk about another aspect of this increase that's flying under the radar: its impact on the earnings limit. If you're claiming Social Security before your full retirement age and still working, there's a limit to how much you can earn before some of your benefits are temporarily withheld. This earnings limit is also adjusted annually with inflation, which means it will increase in 2026 as well. But here's the really interesting part, and something that could affect your planning for next year. The Social Security Administration actually applies 2 different earnings limits, one for the year before you reach full retirement age, and a higher limit for the year you reach full retirement age. Both of these limits will be going up, giving working beneficiaries more flexibility to earn without affecting their benefits. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the long-term implications of such a large increase. Will Social Security be able to sustain these kinds of adjustments? It's a valid concern, and one that deserves attention. The truth is, these COLAs are built into the system specifically to maintain beneficiaries' purchasing power, regardless of inflation. The money for these increases comes from the same funding sources that pay all Social Security benefits, primarily payroll taxes and interest on the trust fund's reserves. Speaking of the trust fund, let me share something that might surprise you. Despite what you might have heard about Social Security running out of money, these COLA increases are not putting additional strain on the system. They're simply maintaining the real value of benefits that were already promised. The actual challenges facing Social Security's long-term solvency are more related to demographic shifts and wage growth patterns. But let's bring this back to what matters most right now, making sure you're prepared to make the most of this historic increase. Here are a few practical steps to consider. First, take a look at your current budget and think about how you might want to allocate this additional income. While it might be tempting to think of it as extra spending money, consider using at least part of it to build an emergency fund or pay down any high-interest debt. Second, if you're currently working with a financial advisor or tax professional, schedule time to discuss how this increase might affect your overall financial picture. For some beneficiaries, the additional income could impact other benefits or tax obligations. Being proactive about understanding these implications can help you avoid surprises down the road. And third, this one's crucial: make sure you're set up to receive communications from the Social Security Administration. While the COLA will be applied automatically, there might be other important information or updates you need to know about. The best way to stay informed is through that My Social Security account I mentioned earlier. Before we wrap up, let me address one more question that's probably on many of your minds. What if inflation continues to rise? Will there be additional increases? The answer is yes. Social Security benefits will continue to be adjusted annually based on the CPIW, regardless of whether the change is large or small. However, once a COLA is applied, it becomes a permanent part of your benefit base. There's no possibility of your base benefit being reduced, even if we experience deflation in the future. Let me summarize what we've covered today, because this is truly a historic moment for Social Security beneficiaries. We're looking at an 8.3% increase starting in January 2026, translating to an average boost of $153 per month for typical recipients. The increase will be automatic, but the exact amount will vary based on your current benefit level and whether you have Medicare premiums deducted from your payment. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this massive Social Security raise. How will this increase affect your financial situation? Do you think it's enough to keep up with the rising cost of living? Share your perspective in the comments below. Your experience and insights could help other viewers better understand what this means for them. If you found this information helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're committed to keeping you informed about all the latest Social Security developments, and with changes this significant, you won't want to miss our upcoming coverage. Remember to hit that notification bell so you'll know immediately when we post new updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.